In the ancient days, this was the center of town in Ain Karam. It was the watering hole for everyone who lived in this valley. In fact, the name Ain Karam comes from this very spot, since Ain Karam means spring of the vineyard. This land was the vineyard, and this was the spring. This is a freshwater spring, and everyone in town used to come here to get their drinking water. Now, of course, they collected rainwater in cisterns, but this was like the community faucet. Today, this water is contaminated and is no longer safe to drink. Now, just like Mary's well in Nazareth, it is a misnomer to call this Mary's spring, or as some call it, the Fountain of the Virgin, because this was the spring for the entire town of Ain Karam for thousands of years. However, the most famous visitor to this town, that being Mary, probably visited this spring several times during the 3 months that she was here visiting Elizabeth. Now, Elizabeth was in her 6th month of pregnancy when Mary first came to Ain Karam. During the 3 months that Mary stayed with her, she was probably a big help in fetching water for Elizabeth, who was both old and very pregnant at the time. If you've ever walked up the hill between this spring and the Church of the Visitation, you know that the walk can be somewhat aggressive. Luke 1:40 says that Mary met Elizabeth after entering their home, but it's possible that Mary stopped here first to quench her thirst before she ascended the hill to the place now known as the Church of the Visitation. There is little doubt that Mary was at this well several times, both drinking and fetching water. As you can see, the mouth of this spring reveals a rock-hewn tunnel, which is about 30 meters long. And this tunnel was constructed during the time of Jesus, or shortly before, in order to increase the spring's capacity. In other words, this tunnel may have been here when Mary visited this spot. And perhaps what you're looking at here is what Mary herself saw when she came to get water. Now, was Jesus ever here? I believe that he was, at least as a child. You see, Jesus came to the temple at least 3 times every year in order to celebrate the feasts that were ordered by the law of Moses. Ain Karam was nearby, and this was the home of the relatives of both Jesus and Mary. After all, Jesus and John were cousins. They were both 30 years old when Jesus was baptized by John. And during this baptism, it seems very apparent that the two of them knew each other from their previous relationship. Well, if Jesus ever was in Ain Karam, then he must have gotten thirsty, and that might have put him right here, where you are standing, at Mary's Spring.